A Pickle for the Knowing Ones by Lord Timothy Dexter. To mankind at large, the day is come at last, the great day of rejoicing. What is that? Why, I will tell you. You, thus three kings, is raised. Eumene should know raised on the first royal arch, in the world almost, not quite, but very who up upon, so they are good mark to be seen. So the women's like to see the front, and all people loves to see them, as the Quakers will come and peep slyly, and feel a glad, and they say, Huey the Dewey, friend Father George Washington is in the center king. Adams is at the right hand of the present king. At the left hand, Father Gorge, with his hat on the other hats of the middle king, with his sword King Adams, with his cane in a grand poster attitude, turning his face towards the first king, as if they was on some politics. King, our present king, he is stands hearing, being younger and very defay, in short, being one great philosopher, looks well east and west and north and south, defay and very defay. The god of Nature has done very much for our present king, and all our former ones. They are all good. I want them to live forever, and I believe that they will. It is hard work to be a king, I say. It is harder than tilling the ground. I know it is, for I find it is hard work to be a lord. I don't desire the sound, but to please the people at large let it go to brack the way it does for assortment to help a good laughe, to cur the six blenny gooty dull frames. Lick myself, with the goote and so on, make merry, uh, a chelly Christian is for me only be omnest. No matter what they worship, sun, moon, or stars, or their wife, or miss, if honest, live forever. Money won't get those figures so fast as I wish I have sent to Leghorn, for many, Mr. Boar is one amongst others, I sent in the grand Cretcham those three kings, our plain white Callao at present the Royal Arch, and figures cost £39 weight silver, the highest Count-Caton order in the world. So it is said by the knowing one, I have only 4 lions and 1 lamb up the spread eagle, has been up 3 years upon the cupola. I have 13 billers fraught in Strat for 13 states when we begun, 3 in the rear, 15 foot high, 4 more on the grass. See 2 the same hath at the right of the grand arch 2, at the left wing 15 foot high, the arch 17 foot high. The my house is 3 story upwards, of 290 feet round the house. Natter has formed the ground equal to what you would wish for the art by man equal to a Solomon the Honorable Jonathan Jackson, one of the first in this country, for task born a great man by nature. Then the best learning, what sought me forward for my plan, having so grand spot the whole of the world can't exceed this. To those that don't know would think I was like half the world, a liar. I have traveled good deal, but old steady man stayeth. It is the first it is the first best in this country and others' country. I tell you this at the truth, that none of you great men wouldn't be affronted at my presedence, and I spare now cost in the work. I have the temple of reason in my guarding, 3 years past with a tomb under it, on the edge of the grass, see it cost 98 guineas besides the coffin, Panted wit inside and outside, touched with green noble trimmings, uncommon locks, so I can tack the key inside, and hay fear works in the tume pipes and tobacco, and a speaking trumpet, and Bible to read, and some good songs. What is a president answer? A king Bonaparte. The great has as much power as a king, and ought to have, and it is a massy. He has for the good of mankind, he has as much power as any king for grat ways back. If there must be a head somewhere or the people is lost like wild geese when they lose the gander. Two-legged want a head. If four-legged both and two-legged fowls, the name of president is to please the people at large. The sound suits best now in the south. Give way to the north give way to the south, or by and by you will break what failures be wise, on keep the links together, and if you can't agree, consolidated to a kingly power, for you must keep together at the worst hear it. Labors ye less see, there is so many men once be the all officers, and now Soger's poor king every day wants a bone sum more than others. The king can't live without the feld. We have had our tourney. Grat good Father Adams, turn and turn about rest easy. You all will be pleased with the present king. Give time. All did I say now, but the proper mager part forfeits at least. Friends, hear me. Two grenadiers goss up in 20 days. Forder friends, I will tell the a type of a man, kind what is that 35 or 36 years gone. A town called Newbury. All one the Yowantes states. Newbury people kept together quiet till the marnd growed strong. The farmers was 12 out of 20. They wanted to have the officers in the country. The end in the seaport wanted to have them there gearing. A rose growed warm fight. They would in law. They went the journal court, to be sought of finally. They go there. Ian's answered, the seaport killed Newbury port 600 acres of land. Out of 30,000 acres of good land. So much for mad Papel of learning. Makes them mad. If they'd kept together, they would have been the second town in this stat. About half of Boston. Now, men mad to be in office. It hurts the people, larg like, carrying the innocent lamb to the larder. Now, it would done to divide the north from the south. All one would I have lead down. But now keep together. It is like a man and wife in true love. Now goving death, the gander you will souse the glory. I say, keep together. Don't brack the chain renew. Brotherly love never fade. Like my box in my garden, be one grat family. Give way to one another. Thous changes is the tide. High water and low water. High tids and low tids for my part. I have liked all the kings. All three. All our broken marchants. Can't have beaths of profit gone, and till the grounds go to work is all that has been to college. Go with slippers and promise to pay, and never pay, only with a lie. I guess 4/5 is colleague lant, or devil lant, or pretended to be honest Freemasons, but are to the country. Forgive me for guessing, but I hope it is not so. The leaned is for leoves and little fishes. Moses was but a man, and Aaron they had some devil like myself, man. Is the same, give him power. I say, the cloak cookment maters the worst of cheats. We han't got only and port. We are noted to be the first uh, in the north. Saved day is not half enough night. Meetings it makes work for the doctors. Nooses. Cushing could but them lives breed so fast to make up for them. That dies poor creatures. I pity them so. Priest ridin'. It is wickard to leave poor souls to the grave of our ministers. Are imported very good men, foul of love of Christ. I kept them amid a men at present. The young man that doth most all my carving his work is much liked by our grat men. I felt foony one day. I thought I would ask say the young man where he was. Bone he said, now where? What is all that? Now where was your mother over Shadurd? I says my mother was, if was to guess. No, I'm in now town born, oh on the water. I says, you beat me. And so we left, and it shook of the spleen. Shoo e him, a crow's nest. He can carve one, a fine fellow. I should have had all marble, if anybody could to me the prize. So I have sent for 8 busts for kings, and grat men, and 1 lion, and 2 greyhounds. I hope to hear in 2 days to all honest men. Mr. Printer, I must go some further. I have got one good pen. My fortin has been hard, very hard, that is. I have hard knocks on my head 4 different times. From a boy to this day, twice taken up for dead. 2 beating was a lawyer, then he was mad because the people at large declared me Lord Dexter, King of Chester. This at my country seat 26 mills from Enport. My place there is the fist from Saltwater to Kennedy. This lawyer that bruised me was Judge Livermore's son Arthur. The same creator borrowed $200 some months before this, and then awaited me. He beat his benefactor. It has been my luck to be used 10 times was by them. I do weigh the most, for I have lost first, and last as much as a ton of silver. Gross my wife, that was 400 watt of silver. Abraham Bishop that married my Dafta, 10 years gone him, and she since then, and my son Samuel L. Dexter, upwards of $70,000. The rest by Hampshire, coal by Rooks, has got be second-handed priests, deacons, grunters, wimmers. Every few minutes, a Sith or Christ. We must believe in Christ. Oh, Jesus will save us, I think, sometimes. The saving salt and smoke and saltpeter will in time be very dear if it is used. The more smoke, or the priests will be out of work. Little like Fister France, I laid out a plan to have holidays. One day in 24 years gone. I thought it would save the Natician. Great deal of money, sir, in 1 century. Then the priests would have time to study. Then Hamer. Down smartly make the sulphur smoke in their nostrils. Under the cloak of bread and wine. The hypocrites cloven foots they do it to get power to lie and not be mistrusted. All wars, mostly by the suff. The broken marchants are fond of war. They ha'n't nothing to lose. And the ministers in all wars, the case, O God, leave the divil out, when it is all divil, if you can bear the truth. I will tell you the truth. Man is the best animal, and the worst all men are more or less the divil. But there is a sit of odds, some half, three quarters, the other part beast, of different kind of beasts. Some one thing and some another, some like a dog, some like horses, some bear, some cat, some lion, some like owls, some a monkey, some wild cat, some lamb, some a dove, some a hog, some a ox, some a snake. I want Decipons to be done away, but they won't. Never be as long as priest ridden. What do the priest preach to the divil? For all their hears, old and young, more or less the divil, I like to say it, so divil preaches to divil's rebuking. Sin, keep it up, 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 saith the hypocrites, mockers of God habits. A custom is the odds. Odds makes the difference. I sees God in all places, the God of nature in all things. We live and move in God. He is the God of nature. All nature is God. Take one element from us, one of the four. Take the fire, or the water, or ear, or earth. We are gone, so we live in God. Now lest us all be the good children. Do all things right. The strong must bear the infirmities of the wicked. Children, keep up tight. Laws draw the reins a little harder, stop thieves as fast as you can, bad trade shooting. 9 numbers was wrought in 23 hours. When I had hold of the pen, 5 hours and 35 minutes. Assortment, assortment is good in a shop. The priests fixes their goods 6 days. Then they open shop on Sundays to sell their goods. Some sets them up better than others, Bullherd. When a man is so weak he won't do for a lawyer, make a priest of him. For a weak thing to go with weak things, the blinds to lead the blind, so that they may all fall into one ditch, and so they go through the world darkness, but foo people have opinion of their one, not in 20, as to this world goods, and so it is as to the other world. To inquire the way, go a friar our people, about the same thing, only calls it something else, in rum of a king. Call it president, but priests have money to save souls. I want to know what a soul is. I wish to see one. Not a gizzard, I thinks. The soul is the thinking part. There's grat minds and little minds, grat souls and little souls, grat minds and little minds. According to the have-day bodies that has the power of our bodies, the same mother and the same father and 6 children, how they will differ in looks and complexions, and accents, some for grat thing, some for little things, something new. I say my figures will pay interest money to prove it first going over my bridge. Some more told in helping the market of the town, leading hoses, tavern keepers, custom the honor to the town and myself. One thing for day, I have been converted upwards 30 years, quite resigned for the day, the great day. I wish the priest knowed as much as I think I do. Their hearts would leap up to glory to be so reader, for the first time of rejoicing, to be married to what a fine widow, with her lamp burning, the lamps trimed with glory, the shaking quakers after they get converted and their sins washed away, they stay at home and let those gone unclean. And so it is much so with me. I stay at home praying for thieves and rogues to be saved day and night, praying for sinners, poor creatures. My housekeeper is in the dark. Was then bad crazy to be saved, she says. She has sinned against the Holy Ghost. I have asked her what she says. It is something, but can't find out. When I sends for the priest, comes, what is the matter? Ghost, ghost. Dear sir, the minister makes a prayer. The ghost went off mostly, not all parts stayed behind. She's been crazy ever since. The priest can't lay the sepont who, many nicknames, three things. Have saith the preacher, Amen. Amen. See faith I do. New Mr. Printer, sir. I was at New Haven 7 years and 7 months past at commencement. Degrees going on, 40 boys was tuck degrees to do a good or not good. The old man with the hat on told them to study human, nater and walk as a band of brothers. From that day I thought that all those that was bout up to colleague, the meaning was to get their living out of the labier. If the colleagues was to continue 1 century and keep up the game, reckon the cost of all from their cradle to 22 years old, their fathers and guardians, to lay out 100 years interest, and interest upon interest, a trace guess at it, and cast it see who many 100,000 millions of dollars it would come to mad rogues and thieves, to plunder the laboring man that sweats to get his bread. Good common learning is the best sum. Good books is best well understood. Be honest, don't be priest. Writing it is a cheat. All be honest in all things. Now fear, let this go as you find it. My way spelling who is the strangest man. Forder, mister, a minister. To get the tone is a great pint. When I lived in Hampshire, one knew that Baptist babbler sobbed away just finishing his sermon. He says, "Oh good Lord, I hope you will consider what few hints I have given, and I will clear it up some time hence. I am much wore down now, the weather being very warm today, less spray, and so went on fire, and brimstone, and grunting, and fithing, and tried to cry and snuff and blow the skunk's horn, and some the old souls and young foals sought to crying. I took my hat and went out, who mankind and womankind is imposed upon all over the world, more or less, by priestcraft. Oh for shame, oh for shame, I pity them, be honest doe, as you would wish others to doe unto you. In all things, now fear of death, amen. Further, what different woes we have of this world and the other world. 2 good women lived in a town where I once lived. One was sick of a consummate near death. Both belonged to the church, very honest. Only the well woman was weak in one's thing, and says unto the sick woman, I thinks you will see my husband. Do tell him, I and my son agrees very well, and we are all well, and the sow is pigged, and got 7 pretty pigs, and fare you well, sister. This I believe is certain true, and so fare for the well. I shall come again in a little while. And furthermore, I am for some phone deciphons, but very few for. Then death priestcraft is very good for what to make old women grunt and young children cry, and old fowls fling snort oyes and break up faramies, doing by untruths. lying and swearing to a lie. Stop! I am alive, old me. I have heard your wickard stuff. You have injured my friends aplenty, and if you don't stop, I will call forth one Abraham Bishop to put Nicholas and all that tries to keep up lying. If there should be any such stuff in the land, church members pant to be fond of Deshvipron. They are perfect, but if there is any, put them with the tooth. Born the rubege peas on it, or that fear not wind or filth, go by the rackle breed, and was then toward, I like to say, no shite stinks strong bread, and wine master Boteal house is the bull, a black man, a friend to John Meckle, gentleman from a crow's nest, whereas call ool, as where, now where o yefsum, where dear oilin, now the Ingons lived there onla, that can't be, he was from hell, where his or was brother came from, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, a crow's nest, or Oregon puller down. I'm the first lord in the United States, Americari. Now, of Newburyport, it is the voice of the people, and I can't help it, and so let it go. Now, as I must be a lord, there will follow many more lords, pretty soon for it. Don't hurt a cat, nor the mouse, nor the sun, nor the water, nor the ear. Then go on all and easy. Now bonds broken, all is well in love. Now I begin to lay the cornerstone with grat remembrance of my father, Jorge Washington, the grat hero 17 centuries past, before we found so good a father to his children, and now gone to rest, to shew my love, to my father and great caretiers. I will shew the world, one of the great wonders of the world, in 15 months, if now man murders me, indoors or outdoors, such a mauserum on earth will announce, O Lord, thou knowest to be of true forter. Hear me, good Lord. I am a going to let our children know now to see me, good Lord. What has been in the world, grat ways back to own forefathers, not old Plymouth, but stop to Adam and Eve, to shown 45 figures, two-legged and four-legged, because we can't do well without four-legged in the first place. They are our food. In the next place, to make out Dexter's mauseum, I want 4 lions to defend thou's grat, and mystery men from east to west, from north to south, which now are at plazas raised. The lamb is not reedy, in short metre, if agreeable, I form a good and peaceable government on my land in Newburyport. Complete, I take 3 presidents, Hampshire governor, all to New York, and the great Mr. John Jay is one, that makes 2 in that state, the King of Great Britain, Mr. Pitt Rufus King Croce, over to France Liz, and the 16, and then the great Bone Party, the great, and their signature Crow Bitley. I command please, and the greatest brotherly love, not fade be linked together with that best of true love, so as to govern all Nazians on the face of the globe, not to tyrannize over them, but to put them to order if any despot shall arise as to boundaries or any matters of importance. It is left France and Great Britain, and Amicary to be settled, a congress to always in France. All despots is to be there settled, and this may be done. This will ballast powers, and then all wars done away. Therefore, I have the lamb to lay down with the lion. Now this may be done if those 3 powers would agree to lay what is called devil one side, and not carry the gentleman pock any longer, but shake him off his dust on your feet, and laugh at him. There is a great noise about a two-legged critter. He says, I am going to set Said Black Divil there. Stop! He would scare the woman so there would be no use for the building. I should have erect some. New one. Now I stop here. I puts the devil along with the bull, for he is a bulling, two-legged animal. Stop. Put him one side near Solomon. Looking with Solomon to Lady Venus. Now stop wind up there. His grad in front. I will let you know the secret, Hugh. You may see the devil stand on your head before a looking glass, and take a bibble into your bosom fast. 40 hours and look in the looking glass. There is no devilish. You don't see the old fellow, but I affirm you will see that old devil. Unto you all mankind come to my house and mock and sneer wi' ye. Don't you laugh before God, or I mean your betters think the air power. Don't know thorts and axions. Now I will tell you, good and bad, it is not polite to come to see what the bare walls keep of my ground. If you are gentlemen, you would stay away. When all is done in marble, I expect to go out myself to help, if those grat men will send on their likeness all over the United States. I wish all the printers to give notice, if pleases to form, by printing in the newspapers for the good of whole of mankind. I was to make my enemies grin in time, like a cat over a hot pudding, a goo away, and hang their heads doon like a dog bin. After sheep guilty, stop, see I'm afraid. I write to hash on my people. Complain of backers spittlemax, work to clean it up. In the women's skulls about it spit in their handkerchief, or not spit at all. I must say something, or I should say nothing. Therefore make some noise in the world when I get so ooly to gnash my gums and grising for water, that is salt water, when brought a young devil to bring it in, and a squire to wait and tend on gentlemen, a black soulier, in his breath smelt, was then bramstone by far. But let the devil go into darkness, and take eld his due to scare mankind, for a little while this cloven foot is seen be some, but the trap will be overhauled, the devil and Tim. I pity this poor black man. I think his master wants purging a little, to hear har bear Mr. Devil. A most, but I did not say. Let him run away, good knit Mr. Devil carry. The sword and moony with you tack, John Meckle, gentleman good not. Mr. Printers, the ignorant, or the knowing ones, says I ought to do it, as they do, to keep up cheats, or the same thing Desiphons to deserve the ignorant, so we may cheat, and likewise have wars and plunder my wish, as all liars may have their part of fear, and brimstone in this world, or at least some part of it, or else the government is not good. It will want porging soon, if a lawyer is to waylay a man and bruise him unmaskly, almost to death. A citizen that pays $24 for curiags, and not more than $1 a week, to mend the highways and my being lip peril, as in part of this bloody affair. No sewage would beat a man as I was beaten almost to death, if I did not know who these men came to keep Sid the lawyer from quit killing of me, till some time after 3 men saw the accent of the bloody scene without mercy, and eerie said, Dexter into the house. Son Fantinger near to see, and behold the orful sight, bleeding and blind of one eye, 12 bruisings, in 2 hours at least. Now laws in this part of the world, for a man of money to live those. I lend money to end a lawyer, others they use me, the worst it makes enemies. And then these rogues, if there is any that call me a soul and pick a quarrel with me about my newspapers, so as to pay the lawyer craft to make up the molten calf. A molten calf, not an ox. Now the town of Chester has lost 200 weight of silver. At least I believe more money. And they may have me in the town, or lawyer choose for yourselves, my friends, and fellow mortals. Please be with you. All amends the log. Finally, brethren, something more coming. Okay, so that was the end of part one. I have better things to do right now, so I'll do part two later.